Welcome back to our channel. This week's video is going to be a little bit different. We won't be working on cars like usual. Me and my sister are going to go up to Bonita Springs in the M3 and we'll talk about how it even came to the point of us owning this car, and we will tell you a little bit about Bonita Springs, what it looks like now and what it looked like 4 months ago after both of the hurricanes. Let's get into the video.
Hey, I'm Lucy, and as my brother already mentioned, we're going to be making a little trip today talking about how we got to this point with the car, how the hurricane actually influenced the area down here and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to be on today's video and talking to you guys, and kind of both of us are probably going to give a bit of perception on how like the hurricane caused the damage and stuff like that. So yeah. Alright, so the first and most important point in my opinion with this car is how we actually got to the point of owning. Alright, so in my opinion, the first and most important point with this car is how we actually got to the point of owning a flood damaged car. And it's a pretty interesting story in my opinion. And so we just wanted to let you guys know and elaborate more on that. So Tietzen is going to go ahead with that.
Yeah, so me and my dad, we've always, since I was a kid, we've always played video games a lot. And most of them were like car games or whatever. And we were playing Gran Turismo 7, which is a very fun game. And we bought a car in the game, which was a M4 and F80 too. And we weren't really sure what color to pick. So we scrolled through the whole color list and whatever. And then just decided on kind of like a really bright kind of yellow, which looked really good on the car. And me and my dad have always also watched car YouTubers like rebuild crash cars or flood damaged cars, whatever. And so me and my dad, kind of the history on that, want to take a faster car and build it as like a kind of like a track car, so we can use it on like weekends and like have fun with it. And so we scrolled through Copart and found this F80, which was flooded. And when we got it, it was in a really good condition, so we kind of changed from the point to making it like a track car kind of, and just got it as like a daily driver, or more as like my first car, which I'm completely in love with. And since we got the yellow on the M4 in the game, we wanted to wrap the car because black is kind of plain and doesn't pop really much. So we just decided to get the yellow, and I think it was the best decision we could have done with this car, because it just really fits through the whole car and we all love it.
And it's honestly like he just made the point of it being his first car, and since he is 16 years old and will be turning 17 this year, it's pretty crazy to a lot of people that he has an M3 as a first car. And in our family, we don't really have defined own cars. Like, I don't really have my defined own car. We all basically just use all of our cars, depending on how we need them and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool that he got to the point of having this as his first car, basically, because he did work really hard for it, and he did do, like, he'll elaborate on that again, but he did do a lot of the work by himself on the car.
And
but, yeah.
As she said, I did a lot of work on the car, and of course my dad double checked it, so like I don't do anything wrong and that everything is correct at the end. And I just worked a lot on the car. It didn't really show much in the video. Obviously it took longer than 8 videos, but yeah, I just put a lot of time in this car with my dad. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah.
We are on our way to Bonita right now, Bonita Springs, and we're going to be there shortly, and then we're going to be talking about how the hurricane affected the area, and that kind of ties into like the car being flood damaged, because I think it was from Florida.
Yeah, it was at the auction lot in Punta Gorda, or not Punta Gorda, in like Tampa somewhere. But technically all the same region, because we had 2 hurricanes last year in the season, and one of them hit directly on Tampa and a bit more north, I think. And this is actually also Bonita Springs area where I think in 2023, where the Hurricane Ian hit, It hit directly on Bonita Springs, and that's also a lot of you probably heard the McLaren P1 that got washed out of the garage.
Alright, so quick update. We are currently stuck in traffic. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is pretty full, and it does only turn into one lane, so this will be a while, but clear blue skies today, so hopefully we will get some good images and videos in for you guys to show you what it looks like now. It doesn't look too bad, I would say. Like, obviously, like, the area down here is like still recovering from it, but they're all doing a pretty good job. It looks really good, especially like all the help that they got here. It's like, I think there was like so many volunteers up here and like so many companies, but the sand did actually rise up to like, if you guys were like stand next to a mailbox like outside of your house right now, like that's how high the sand actually got. And like a bunch of like garages, because you do have it like down here on the island, you do have it to the point where like the houses have the garages on the first level, and you're not actually allowed to have living space on the first level just for like flood protection services, kind of.
And here you can also see that the even still like now, 4 months after the hurricane, that there's still small piles of sand everywhere. And as my sister said, like the volunteers up on the Sandoval Islands, like the first bridge that kind of connects the whole islands, that got completely, I think, washed away. And it's just, there were, I think, in the first day or whatever, thousands of trucks that came in to unload sand that came from the north and everything, so people can leave and access the island again. And which is just crazy to see that there's so many people helping out. And yeah,
It's, I don't know, like a lot of people did open up their garages because it does help with like the storm surge, letting it like go through and like the sand passing through, because otherwise it could like completely like damage your house foundation. But like a lot of houses did really recover quickly, I would say. Like there's older houses down here that are just like built on the
on little pillars, like wood pillars that like most of them got like completely ripped away. Like half of the house wasn't even like there anymore. And I mean, it's kind of like not to be expected, but it's also sad to see that like your house gets like completely washed away in like a couple of days.
It's pretty crazy, especially like the mangroves over here. They're still like, they're starting to green up, but they were so soaked in salt water and sand and debris and stuff like that. There were even like, I don't know if we still have pictures, but if so, we'll blend them in. There were so many boats stuck in the mangroves that were like completely just flushed over the side of the road. It's like, for example, here you can actually see how high the sand stayed, like above the street. Alright, so we're pulling into a boat ramp spot right now to take a few pictures for you guys and see what it looks like currently. Alright, so we just got to the boat ramp, and it does look pretty okay. It doesn't look too damaged overall, where everything like the hurricane hit and stuff like that, but it does look pretty great so far. Water is clear and a lot of pelicans back there, but yeah, it looks pretty good so far. Alright, so we just made it to Fort Myers Beach, on the island actually, not the actual beach, and car just looks amazing out here.
And something really cool about this whole like hurricane situation up here in Fort Myers and Bonita too is that the FEMA which is
It stands for Federal Emergency Management Agency.
yeah, and they are required manufacturers of like RVs and stuff to give discounts kind of to people that like lost their homes here, so that they have somewhere to live. And they just basically, a lot of people bought RVs or maybe already had some and put it on their land where they lost their house and are still now living in an RV, even from like previous hurricanes. Still own that RV and still live in it mostly, and which is just really cool that they even go like that far out to manufacturers to give a discount to people that need it, which is in my opinion completely right and just very good to do. Thank you for watching this week's video. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
It would help out a lot if you would like and subscribe to our channel.
Drive safe and stay tuned.